because my dad is that kind of a father that will hit you till you almost lose your breath, tie you to a table, put pepper in your eyes, in your private part. All of those things were done to me. Hey fam, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another beautiful video. This is one of the most requested videos on this channel, especially by young mothers. I have not actually talked about this on my channel in my 4 years on YouTube. We've been talking about so many things, but we've not actually touched the area of parenting. So today's video is about parenting, and I'm going to be telling you guys how my childhood was with my parents, growing up with my parents, their influence on me, and how it has helped me in raising my kids. Okay, you guys already know that I have 4 boys, so you can call me mama of boys. I think I'm due for that title. Anyways, let's stop playing so that we dive right into the video. I've actually gotten some compliments from people, which is also one of the things that triggered this video. People telling me stuff like, "Oh, Sandra, your children are so well behaved. They are God fearing. You've actually impacted godliness in them and all of that." So, asking me how did I get, to do all of this, and I think it's right. It's actually wise for me to discuss it with you all, especially because the people I have on my channel, if I go to my analytics, you find out that they are more of younger women like myself. So I think it's a good topic for us to talk about, coupled with the fact that, I have children. The truth is that you guys might be seeing it here that I'm doing so well. I'm not actually seeing it like that way because I know I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to parenting. I made so many mistakes, right? And sometimes I sit myself down and I'm like, I can still correct these ones. But there are some that when you still continue doing them and you run with them, you might not be able to correct them in your entire lifetime. Let me just you guys. I grew up as a child with this understanding that my dad hates me. Yes. Because my dad is that kind of a father. As a parent, my dad is that kind of a parent that will hit you till you almost lose your breath. Yes, you heard me right. This Omega that you guys are seeing today is that kind of a father that will hit you, tie you to a table, put pepper in your eyes, in your private part, all of those things. All of those things were done to me, especially because my younger siblings grew up, meeting him, calming down a little, especially my younger sister Jenny. She met my dad when he was now calm. So it was myself, and the other 2 boys, right? And my 2 brothers that actually experienced this type of parenting. I wanted to say cruelty, but no, that's too harsh, to use when trying to describe what my father did to me. But let's be polite here. So my mom is always on the protective side. She'll always, protect us. When you run to her, she'll be like, explain this, that. Sometimes she takes a lot of blames for things she didn't do. And now I see myself doing the same for my children. Okay, you guys already know that after the death of my late husband, please, if you're new to the channel and you want to catch up with all the gist, scroll down to my old videos and then you can catch all the gist. It's not what I can explain here because I know we gained a lot of new subscribers. Okay, about sometime last month we hit 50,000 subscribers, and now we are like 53,000, close to 54,000. So I think it is wise for me to always drop some hints, in some of my current videos. So when my late husband died, my children moved in with my mom, started staying with my mom, my parents per se, and I was staying alone. So I didn't do much parenting to them between their age of, okay, Danny was 5 years old then, between their ages of 5, and then Sammy was 1 year plus. Between these ages till Danny was 11. Yes, so they didn't stay with me for about 6 years. Not like I was all the way far away, like completely out of their life. No, I was still there, but of course, I was on and off, stuff like that. They were permanently with my parents that period. So, oh, I have cough that is trying to clear up. So my voice is not that sweet right now. So manage me. So when they finally moved in with me, Danny was 11 years old, and then Sammy was around 6 years old. Then we started staying together. I discovered that, my mom, being the kind of woman that she is, did some, over pampered them. Let me be honest. Not like I don't pamper children, I do. Of course, I do. But in this house, like my new family now, my husband is more of a pampering type. Not that he does not caution, he does, but he's more on the, protective side. Yeah. Because I remember those days that, I adopted that method that my dad was using my when first year staying with my children until Danny was around 12. If he does things wrongly, I will hit him. And I discovered that he started going closer to my husband. He became closer to my husband than myself, the mother. So jealousy set in. And I was like, is there anything I'm not doing right? I started asking myself questions. And then I discovered again that my dad, in this his old age, if you hit Danny, for example, any of his grandchildren in his presence, or any child at all, not just my children, if you hit them in my dad's presence, you're going to have to, battle my dad for hitting them. So I began to wonder what led to what's going on. Is it that this man has repented or something? So I needed to ask him a few questions. And he was like, beating a child is not the right way to train children. Because I could remember those days in secondary school that my dad would hit me until he developed thick skin, like Aruge, Sizie Ike, where else if any move and stuff like that. So I would go to school. When they are punishing my friends, I would take the cane on their behalf. To the point that I was that stubborn despite the discipline, the beating, the hitting, the punishment, and several other things that my dad, did to us, all in the name of trying to raise you to be a better person. I was actually still stubborn, you know, because then my mind will always tell me that, oh, just do what you want to do. At the end of the day, now beating you will collect. You understand? So I had to ask him, and he explained to me that he was actually regretting all of those things because he was equally hitting my brothers. And then at some point, they grew thick skin. They have that understanding that after all, they will just beat me and that one will end. You prepare your mind and commit an offense and be disobedient, preparing your mind and knowing that what's come to us now beating. So after he told me all of that, and I'm like, wow. So this was actually what led to some of the things that, happened when we now became early adults, okay? When we now went into adulthood, early those days. And I'm like, no, I think I have to withdraw. So he told me that the reason why Danny was not close to me is because I hate him. Do you know that something happened at my child's school that Danny hid it from me, told my husband, they tackled the issue together, other parents were involved, every other person were involved. I wasn't informed. I was just blacklisted and they, did all of those things, tackled everything. And I got to know about it 1 year later. It broke my heart. It shattered my heart. And I wept. I was like, no, Sandra, there is something you're not doing right. That was when I started cultivating that habit of coming closer to my children, not hitting them. Because I can remember that then they don't tell me everything, right? They don't open up to me, just like the story I shared. So I started coming closer to them, trying to, nurture this new friendship again altogether. It was just as if I met them as total strangers, and then we began to nurture that feeling all together again. And before you know it, things started falling in place, and we became that close, and that mother and child relationship came back alive again. Because they are still teenagers, honestly. If they were to be adults, trust me, it was going to be one of the most difficult things to do because while I was trying to build that relationship, I had to go read books about parenting, you know, written by some prominent personalities, read books about, go online, read up stuffs, and try to help myself and all of that. And it really, really helped me in building the good relationship I have with my children right now. So talking about closeness with my children, if you ask me to rate it, I would give it 95 over 100 because there is nothing that happens now outside this house when I'm not there that I come back and then they don't gist me from beginning to end. I'm talking about all of them. Even baby Emmanuel, as little as Emmanuel is, if they drop him now and then I'm just coming in, he'll come, hold me, and then he's talking, telling me things, and I'll respond as if I am understanding what he's saying. So it's a thing of joy to me that I was able to restore that relationship, right? So talking about closeness, I think that's one. What I faced with my dad, especially, let me not say my parents, growing up as a teenager, the trauma I came into my parenting lifestyle with it, and it actually spoiled things for me. So if you're coming from that kind of home and you're still among those class of women that hit children at every slightest provocation and all of that, please stop doing that. Don't forget, the Bible said that spare the rod and spoil the child. Yes. So it's not like I've spared the rod completely, no. I still have cane in this house, but it's somewhere that is not open. Before, my cane is always on the table, right? But now, you can't see the cane, but there's cane. When there is need for it, I bring it out because I cannot spare the rod completely, right? The Bible that said spare the rod and spoil the child. God is not a foolish God for saying that. There's a reason behind that. So there are certain things that they will do, you still flog, okay? But then with caution, a lot of caution. After which, you still call them to explain the reason why you did what you did. Yeah, that's just it. So it's part of what helped me. Then again, talking about godliness, I think it is something that is in my lineage. Let me put it that way. It's something that is flowing. That it's genetic, or will I say hereditary, right? So let me put it that way because my parents are God-fearing parents. From day one, they raised all of us to be God-fearing. Yes. And I had to impact same into my children. I remember those days when Danny was 5 years old. Sorry, when Danny was 4 years old, he said a prayer in Igbo language at Lagos, May Lily School, precisely, at Okota, Agor Palace, Okota. He said a prayer in a graduation party of their school that marveled everybody. And then they give him an award in Igbo language then. Because they were looking for a child that would pray in Igbo, and then he came out. He prayed at 4 to 5. This thing happened that it was no longer long, and then we lost my husband. So we lost my late husband. So it's something that runs in us. There is the aroma is just everywhere. There's no way you're going to come around me that you will not see God around. Before you stay around me 1 hour, you're going to encounter God around me, honestly. So that one is just something that my parents, as in has or and we are just giving it to all our children. Okay. If you're talking about Danny and Sammy being godly, wait until you meet their cousins. Honestly, I'm being very honest. So, I mean, my auntie children just love. So it's just something that is in us. This generation has decided to serve God, and we are not looking back at all, at all. Okay. I want to say na manito kolobia be to a good chinek. The fear of God is beginning of wisdom. So If you don't raise a child to have fear of God, you're going to regret it in so many ways. One is that that child is going to live anyhow. Yes, they can do anything behind your back. But trust me, when you raise a child to be God-fearing, when you're not there, God is there. When you're not there for them to be scared of. If you raise your child to only respect you, and not acknowledge God, acknowledge that there is another person, that there is a superior being that is present anywhere they find themselves, trust me, they are going to live anyhow. Yes, because when you are not there, it's God and the Holy Spirit that is there. So if you train them not to have fear of God, they can do anything behind you. But if they have the fear of God in you, whether you are there or not, there is a superior authority that they must submit to. So imagine not being where your child is, and then they want to do something bad. They look around and they cannot find you, nobody to tell them to stop. And then the Spirit of God ministers to that child. And they remember maybe something you've taught during a morning devotion, or something you've preached on, or something they've heard the man of God preach about, or something they've read in the Bible. Trust me, even if they fall into that temptation, it's going to be very little, not too deep. Okay, so that's one of the beautiful things that God blessed me with, right? And then talking about respect and manner, which is another important and vital thing in parenting. I taught my children to respect people, not just their parents, anybody. You cannot have my child, by the grace of God, associated with disrespect of any sort. Not at school, not at church, not in the society, not in the compound where we stay, not anywhere. It's impossible. Honestly. So when people walk up to me to tell me, oh, your child yelled at me, or your child disrespected me, I'll tell the person, it's not my child. What happened? Tell me. There must be something that has happened. Something is wrong somewhere. Because I know children that I've raised. So one of the major attributes you need to, work on is teaching your children how to respect people. Let me tell you, some parents, we make that mistake when they are little. And when they are grown, if you're trying to take it from them, it becomes a problem. Do you know why? Because Bible said, train a child in the way he should go. And when he is grown, he will never depart from it. Yes, honestly, God made all these things easy for us. It's just that we find it difficult to use them. Honestly speaking, let me give an example. I saw a video, I think I'm going to attach that clip to this video, where a child at school was capturing everything and everything and everything. And then they were just saying, oh, he's a child, he doesn't know what he's doing and all of that. It's a very big lie. These children actually knows what they are doing. Trust me.
Can you come here, please? Miss T is on the way. Do you need to take a breather? Is everything okay? You need to talk about anything? You want to talk about something? Come on. But that's not how you talk.
Let me tell you this. There was a day I kept my book. Emmanuel is just 1 year, 6 months. And then he went there, saw the book. I held him and I got a ruler. I opened his hands and I held another book. While holding his hands, I held another book and I tore it and then I flogged him. He cried and then he stopped crying. So he stood up again to go to that book and I showed him the ruler. I'll flog you. Do you know that up till now, Emmanuel has never torn any of my books. Even when I keep them careless, Emmanuel will carry the book and come and give me. I'm being very honest with you. So you raise children, you catch them young. There is a certain age that a child will get to. If you're trying to take out a habit that they are used to, trust me, it's going to be very difficult. Let me give another example. One of my co-students at school just told me a story that her child is 5 years old. That her child is 5 years old, and then when he was little, he will always put his hand in her breast and be pressing. And then at some point, she was trying to, take that away from the child. It is not stopping. When he got to 2 years, she was saying, "Oh, he's still a baby." 3 years, "Oh, he's still a baby." Now he is 5, and he can't stop doing that. When you don't allow him to touch yours, he will put his hand on his chest and be touching his own. That's very wrong. That's very wrong. That's addiction at a very little age. So there were certain things that children would want to do. Before teaching children young, catching them young is better than trying to teach them that what they've been doing for years, that what has been encrypted in their brain, they are growing with it, is wrong. You're trying to it's very difficult to change that narrative in children. That's why some children overseas, especially abroad children, can just use their parents' card, order things online, buy things online. A little child can just order things. They can own sex toys. They can own stuffs that are ridiculous. And when you yell at them, it's a problem. When you try to correct them, it's a problem. When you try to flog them, it's a problem. Another thing that helps so much is trying to learn what works for your culture. Yes, you're black, you're black. You're white, you're white. You must not raise your children the way the white people are raising theirs simply because you are in their country. No. You have to respect their law, of course. If they don't allow hitting children, especially if you're a teacher or whatever, of course, respect that. And you must not yell, you must not flog. But little things, trying to tell the child that what you're doing is wrong early enough, goes a long way. It goes a very, 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 very long way. When children are growing, you must always see one bad habit, two bad habits in them. They will come. But the ability for you to now tackle those ones, rebuke them, fight them with both the word of God, both counseling, both the one that requires flogging, of course, appear, the one that requires punishment, of course, the person will do the punishment. Punish them with those things they like doing. For example, if they love watching cartoon, you tell them that because you did this, there is not going to be TV time. You're not going to watch cartoon for the next 1 week. Man, children don't like missing their favorite shows. So there are certain ways, there are several ways you can punish them. And the obonge of them all is prayer. Pray for your child. I think I have a video on that, and I shared a story about a house help that tried to manipulate a child, and the mother was not even aware because she was not spiritually alive and alert. So pray for your children. That's the overall of them all. The number one, pray for your children. If you're a mother and you don't pray for your children, for God to live in them, for the Spirit of God to be in them, calling the Spirit of God, the presence of God to follow them wherever they go, and all of that, you will find out that you will walk like an elephant and you'll be reaping like an ant. Yes, you put in so much hard work in raising them, and at the end of the day, nothing. They won't pick any of those things. The Holy Spirit is the greatest teacher ever. It teaches when you're not there. Like I said before, it is present when you're not there. It goes with your children everywhere they go to. You know, go follow your child. They walk out, they go everywhere where they go. But it goes with your children everywhere they are going. He goes ahead of you, honestly. So always pour the word of God on them, teach them. So I think this video is now long. I'm going to have another video to teach parents on, about the kind of prayers you can make for your children, how to pray for your children, the kind of prayers, the Bible verses you confess, on your children on a daily basis. I'm going to have a video on that shortly after this one. So thank you so much, you guys, for watching the video. I hope you got value. I'm so excited, gisting with you all today, and I'm sure that we all got value, right, from this video. So a very big thank you for lending me your ears, listening to me, and all of that. And of course, I'm going to catch up with you guys once again in another video. Okay, bye, guys.